Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Oh. But nah, y'all, as you can see by the title, this is another story time. Since y'all just love drama, y'all just love mess, let's just get into it, because y'all act like y'all can't, go watch my vlogs. I'm cool, y'all. I swear I'm cool. If this girl comes home while I'm recording the story time, like, I already know it's gonna be some mess. Like, I'm already knowing it's gonna be some mess, but I just don't know if I can get all of this into one story time, y'all. This is the story time of my roommate from HE double hockey sticks, psychotic mental patient is what she is. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. Let's just get into it. I got my girl Taylor with us to help us tell the story time because it's much needed. This girl literally stressed me out so bad. Like, she still stresses me out because she still lives here. So I'm literally, once again, risking my life to tell y'all this story. Let's get into it. So, from the beginning, y'all remember I told y'all I got kicked out of my apartment, right? So I moved into this apartment. They gave me my keys, and I think I had checked in late because I had a hair appointment that day or whatever. So it's like, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, midday still. Like, I still got there in a good enough time. So I walk in, I turn my key, and I'm with my boyfriend at the time. We walk in. Why is it like a crackhead laid out on the couch with laundry on the other chair? So, mind you, this is my first impression of you, and you laid out on the couch sleeping. You woke up like somebody was trying to rob you. So I'm just like, oh, that's weird, but I mean, I don't know, it can't get no worse than what I've already gone through. I already got kicked out of my apartment. Like, I'm just like, okay. She wakes up, like, we startled her or whatever, and she like, oh, hey, that's her favorite thing to say, oh, hey, like, are you the new roommate? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay, nice to meet you or whatever, and just asked me what my name was. And she was just like, immediately off the walk-in, she was telling me like, oh, like, here's some of the rules or whatever. This roommate doesn't like when the door is unlocked, and she is allergic to gluten, so don't use your toaster, and this, that, and the third. Like, she just telling me, oh, you got to take the trash out, da, 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 da. Like, she just telling me all this stuff off rip, which is fine, because it's like, okay, give me a little rundown or whatever. Like, no problem. Like, it's no big deal. Like, you could tell me like the house rules and stuff, but it's just like, I just got in, can I check my room out first? Like, she's steady trying to talk or whatever. So boom, I go in my room for a little bit. I come back out because we're moving and stuff back and forth. I come back out, and she started telling me like her whole personal life or whatever. Like, even though I never asked her, like, she was basically like, she got a medical condition, like a fainting disorder and some other stuff, and like she could literally die at any moment or whatever. And to like call the police, call a 911 if we don't hear from her for a while, because she's probably in her room. Okay, so and then like she tells me like, yeah, like, I was put in foster care as a child, and when she got older, she was drugged and forced to do the do or whatever, and she got pregnant from that. So I'm like, right off the bat, you telling me like all this stuff, and it's just like, I feel bad for you. And I kind of think that that was her main motive. Like, she wanted me to feel bad for her. She wanted me to look at her as like some fragile creature or whatever. Like, but it was just coming off as weird, because why are you telling me all of this like right off the bat? Moving forward, yeah, remember I told you she said she was and she got pregnant from that. She said she gave her son up for adoption, but she still keeps up with him or whatever. Somewhere along the lines, she ended up telling me that she has 2 boyfriends. Not one, but 2 boyfriends that she is seeing right now. She was like, don't be surprised if you see them or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, haha, thinking she playing. She was just like, no, because one is my best friend, but he doesn't lay the pipe down or whatever good. He's not good at that. But the other guy I be having over here, he knows how. And I'm like, okay, like I'm laughing at her. And the whole time she talking to me in this little black accent, like, you know how people like how be trying to like they be trying to mimic us. Like, I hate when people do that. Like, just talk in your regular voice. Even though we be code switching, it just gives me the ick when, you know, somebody else code switch and it's like to me and you know you don't talk like that. Yeah, then the conversation just get weird. Like, she telling me like, oh, like, you know, couples should do it like 3 times a day. It's good exercise for you, and this, that, and the third. Like, she just started getting weird. Like, and then like my nigga at the time, he left the room because it was like she was just getting weird. Like, she was just saying all type of like sexual stuff. Like, and so she asked me like when he left the room, she was like, so like, this is like my second conversation with her. She's like, so how often do you and your man do it? And I'm just like, I really do not feel comfortable talking about that right now. And she was just like, why? I told you our stuff. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, I'll tell you another time. Like, I'm just trying to keep the peace or whatever, like trying to be nice to her because like, I don't know, like I have already had like past roommate situations. Like, I thought that was her. I was just trying to be so unproblematic and so nice to this girl. Like, whole time she was crazy. But yeah, so I was just like, we could talk about that another time or whatever. And then she like, oh, okay, can I see your room? I was like, she was like, I always wanted to know what it looked like in there because I never seen the room before. And so I was like, sure, yeah, you can see it or whatever. And like my boyfriend at the time is like walking back and forth or whatever, moving my stuff, and I'm just talking to her or whatever. And she was like, so like, what are you in school for? And I tell her my major or whatever. And she was like, oh, so like, where do you work? Like, what do you do for a living? And I tell her that. She was like, and how much do you make doing that? And I tell her, and she was like, anyways, so what kind of car do you drive? And then I tell her, and she like, and I'm like, she was like, oh, I never heard of that. Like, basically trying to say like my car wasn't good, my job wasn't good. Like, she was just like trying to shit on everything. Like, girl, like, what kind of car you drive? The whole time she drive a Hyundai. Girl, you could at least drive a Benz where you trying to on my little car like that. Like, don't do me. Don't do me. And then she started bragging about like, oh yeah, I'm an electrician. I make good money. Like, I'm very successful. I make $20 an hour. Girl, $20 an hour is not like, that's your career and you only make $20 an hour. Like, I'm not knocking that because I don't even, you know, I'm not knocking that basically. Like, I'm not knocking it, but don't try to shit on what I got going on just because you are an electrician but you make $20 an hour. Like, girl, what is that? And you drive a Hyundai. Like, what is that? Like, but I didn't say that, whatever. So, I think she was like, at some point of me moving in or whatever, she was just like, so what's the worst roommate you ever had? And I told her something like, I ain't told her nothing too crazy because I didn't want her to think like, oh, I just be in drama or whatever. So I'm like, oh, like, you know, cleaning situation just wasn't good, like, and I had to get on to her about that, and it just seemed like it wasn't working. Like, so I threw her trash can away, and I feel like that is what made her like try to like have it out for me or whatever. Remember I told you I got kicked out, but I didn't know if somebody snitched or whatever. So I was just giving her like half of the story. I wasn't giving her like everything because I didn't want her all of my business. And she was like, oh, well, the girl that stayed here before you, she was freaking crazy. She was like mentally ill. Like there was something wrong with her. Like she literally called the police on me because I was in my room talking on the phone and I said the B word. Like she thought I was talking about her, but I wasn't. And she was recording me through my wall, and like, cause the walls is thin. Like if she's screaming loud, like you can definitely hear it or whatever. And so yeah, like she was just like, I don't know, like, and she started talking to her little black accent. She was just like, I don't know how you get down, but I call everybody a B. I call everybody a bitch. And so I'm like, oh, that's not no problem, whatever. Like, but something just didn't seem right about this story. Like, nobody not finna call the police on you because you called them a bitch, or if you even said that word and you wasn't talking. She was just like, yeah, she was recording my conversations and this, that, and the third, which I later found out why. Because once the other roommate warmed up to me, she ended up telling me like, that situation is not what happened. This is what happened. And that's some whole other stuff. So I'm gonna get back to that. But yeah, so my boyfriend at the time, he leaves the room again. She just like, that's your boyfriend? And I was like, yeah. She was just like, is he high or something? Like, and I'm just like, no, why? And she just like, because he looks slow. Excuse me, bitch? He looks slow. What made you feel so comfortable saying that? Like, what made you feel so comfortable saying that? Like, this is why I literally cannot be nice to people. This is why you just gotta keep people at arm's length, because these white people get too comfortable. And I'm just like, I don't know what you talking about. Like, that was, I just like, I'm not sure why you think that. But I'm still trying to be nice or whatever. But that just turned me completely off, like, when she said that. So basically, he comes back in the room and she just like, oh, so like, are you in school or whatever? And he like, yeah. And she like, oh, what school you go to? And he said, what school you go to or whatever. And she was just like, oh, like, what kind of car do you drive? Why do you need to know what kind of car he drives? And it just gave, like, she was trying to collect all the information so she could go in the parking garage and see, like, when we home, when he's here, like. And I already didn't like that because remember I told you last time I got kicked out of my apartment for 1, violating the guest policy, 2, smoking. And she had already was telling me, like, when we was walking around the apartment together or whatever, she went down to the window and she was just like, you see that right there? She was just like, they be selling drugs down there. They be selling that stuff down there. And I be seeing them and I just be like, or whatever. And like, basically, like, she was just snitching, like saying that they be doing that and this, that, and the third. And then she was like, oh yeah, and the people, I think it was like next door or whatever, they be smoking and it be getting into my vents or whatever, and I told them to stop doing that, da, 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 da. So she already let me know, like, okay, she got a problem with smoking. And at that point, I think I was still smoking or whatever. So I was just like, okay, noted. Like, she telling me she got a problem with smoking, so I'm not gonna do that in here. I'm gonna just go to the car or whatever. So that happens, and then, like, basically I had to make up an excuse because she just kept talking my head off, like. And I was just like, hey girl, like, we finna like start moving my stuff in, like, we need this space over here, because she was sitting like at my desk or whatever. So she gets out and she goes back into the kitchen and she's sitting at the kitchen table, and she just was like, as we walking, like, as we bringing this stuff in, she was just like, are you almost done yet? 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 Like, I'm just like, no, not quite, no, not yet, almost. Like, every time I come in the room, she's saying something to me and trying to talk to me like, do you need help with anything? Like, are you gonna da 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 da? Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna be done when I'm done. Ho, like, relax, because you're doing a bit much. You're doing a bit much. So yeah, fast forward. Oh yeah, so fast forward, like, my boyfriend at the time, he was just like, I just got a bad feeling about her, bro. She weird, like, I don't like this. Like, you need to get a room change. I don't think you should do this. Like, I don't think you should go in there. Like, mind you, he was telling me the right thing the whole time, but I was just so, like, at that point in my life, I was just literally so depressed, like, and I was just so, like, I wanted to feel, like, settled. Like, I wanted to feel at home. Like, I feel like I was staying with my cousin for that, like, week. I think I was staying with her for, like, a week. And I just did not, like, I don't know. I just wanted people that love their own space, love their own personal space, just want to relax. Like, so I was just like, bro, can you stop bringing that negativity into my new apartment? Like, if worse come to worse, I'm just going to probably ignore her. Like, I'm not going to be as friendly with her. So it's going to be cool. So he just like, well, I just don't like it. Like, I don't want you to move here. You don't need to move here. And I'm just like, get mad at him because it's just like, bro, I literally just got kicked out of my apartment. I don't want to hear that shit, respectfully. But he ended up being right, I'm gonna tell y'all. So literally the next day or whatever, sorry. I don't need to drink no more of this. I love Taylor Port. But anywho, so the next day, she like boom, 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 boom on my door. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the, like, and she's like, hey, what are you doing today? Like, are you gonna be home today? Like, what are your plans? Like, and I'm just like, I don't know yet. Like, I'm not sure, but I'm like talking to her through the door, and I open the door because I like was asleep. Like, she literally woke me up because, like, girl. So yeah, I was asleep, and she woke me up and asked me on my plans. Like, why do you want to know? She's just like, if you want to hang out, like, we can hang out. Like, I can get to know you better, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, okay, I'll let you know. Da 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 da. Never let her know, because at this point, you already called my boyfriend slow. Like, no, like, I'm not hanging out with you. Like, you already rubbed me the wrong way. Like, you already told all your business. Like, it just is not giving that I need to be your friend. Fast forward to another day, like, she's catching a hint, because mind you, she's doing this like every day, like the whole week. The first week I moved in, she's knocking on my door, asking me what I'm doing, where am I going, or like, do I want to hang out? And I'm like, no. So, and I'm trying to avoid her, because like literally every time I go into the kitchen, she tries to have a whole conversation with me. And it just like, it's to the point where my food is getting cold, because I'm trying to be cordial and be friendly, and I'm warming up my food, and by the time she's finished talking, by the time I get the guts to walk back into my room and just not care, my food is cold. So at this point, I'm trying to work around her. Like, I'm trying to not be in the kitchen during the day. I'm in the kitchen at night. So this one night, I'm in the kitchen, right? And like, it's dark or whatever. Like, I'm in there with the lights off. So I hear like some little pitter patter while I'm at the microwave. She turns the light on. She turns the light on. It's dark. It's pitch black dark. Nobody's home but me and her. Nobody was living there but me and her. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Me and her were the only person living there since I moved in. And before I moved in, nobody else was living there. And I found out why very soon after. So anyways, she turns on the kitchen light and she's like, hey, how are you? Like, just being creepy as fuck, like creepy. And I'm like, I'm good, like, you know, casual conversation, like we just talking. She's just like, are you mad at me? And then she looked at me like that. And I'm like, no, why would I be mad at you? And she was just like, oh, it just seems like, you know, you're not really trying to get to know me anymore or hang out. Like, I just noticed that, like, it just seems like you just kind of have been distant or whatever. Like, I'm like, no, like, it's not even like that. Like, it's not like that at all. Like, I just, you know, I'm shy. Like, I really, shit, y'all, she home. Okay, y'all, false alarm. It was somebody else. It's my other roommate. Oh yeah, so like I said, I was peeping why she was the only person living in the apartment by herself or whatever. So for one, I literally have a list, y'all. It's a whole, and that's not even the whole thing. That's just what I typed up so far. So boom, let me give y'all some of the reasons why I just noticed immediately why she was there by herself. And I'm gonna pour me some more. Not pour me some more. I really don't need no more because I literally just try to pour that without a top on it. But so she's literally constantly loud all hours of the day, morning, noon, night, late at night, early morning. Like she just loud as fuck for no reason. Like stomping, like she got some heavy ass feet. And she always on the phone. She always arguing. Like it just seems like she's always in some mess. Like always complaining about something, slamming the refrigerator door when she get mad, slamming her door, slamming everything. Another thing I noticed, this girl sets like 20 alarms to wake up in the morning. And the first one start off at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, and then it just goes on until she leaves at like 7. So it's like alarms all the way until 7, until it's time for her to go. And they're like loud as fuck. Like she basically was just living there. Like she was living by herself. Like she had no regard for nobody else that was living in the apartment. Like sometimes, like when I first moved in or whatever, like her and her boyfriend be walking around in their underwear and then be acting off. Oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you were gonna meet. We literally just had a whole conversation about me moving in and you meeting me, and you're continuing to be in this apartment with your boyfriend with your underwear. Like she was just acting like it was her apartment, and I did not like that. One time, and this was later on down the line, I caught her and her boyfriend brushing their teeth in the kitchen sink with my dish and all the other roommates' dishes in it, spitting on our dishes. I said, I opened my door, I didn't even know how to react. Like I just like, I looked at her, I was like, and I ain't saying anything, I just closed my door because I'm one of the people that I have to regroup my thoughts to say before I say them. Because if I would have just say that out loud, I would have been like, you nasty. But no, I just closed the door. I was thinking like, Bree, I know you trying so hard not to be problematic. Like I'm thinking to myself like, Bree, you've been doing so good trying not to be problematic, trying to be nice to this girl, but you cannot just let her think she can get away with that. So I went out there or whatever, and I'm like, hey, I saw y'all brushing your teeth in the sink. Don't do it again. That's not okay with me. That's nasty. And she's like, okay, well, like I just cleaned my sink or whatever, and I'm having guests, so I didn't want to just mess the sink up with the toothpaste because like I just cleaned it. And I'm just like, I really don't care. You shouldn't brush your teeth in the kitchen sink. and you need to clean it out. And she was just like, okay, I'll clean it out. Like, but she was looking at me weird, like, girl, you do not do that. Like, I don't know where you were raised at, but where I'm from, we don't brush our teeth in the kitchen sink. But that was like later on down the line. My first time saying something to her, and I look back on our messages. And I might put them up here if I can find them or whatever. But I was like, hey, it was like 6:19 in the morning, a.m. And I was like, hey, like, do you think you could talk on the phone in your room? Because this girl was in the room at 6 o'clock in the morning, even earlier than 6 o'clock. I just let it slide until 6:19, but it was really earlier than 6:19. She's in the room. My room is directly behind the living room, and she's sitting on the couch that shares a wall with my room. And it's it was like 5:45. She was talking. I let her talk all the way up until 6:19, thinking like she was gonna go in her room, she was gonna catch a hint. No. So I'm like, hey, can you go and talk in your room? Like, it's kind of early and I have to get up for work soon. She's like, yeah, I'm in my room now, no problem. Like, she just cool, like, okay. It's not like I had to check her or anything, so I'm just like, okay, cool. That went better than I expected it to go. But now it's just like, I feel like that kind of became like a pattern of her being loud in the morning or loud late at night, and I'm having to tell her, because like sometimes she would literally be screaming to the top of her lungs, arguing with her boyfriend. Like, let me see if I can find an example on my phone real quick. Let me see. So here goes a little sound. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to hear this, but listen to this, y'all. Like, I'm not even gonna play that whole situation out, but she was basically arguing with her boyfriend, saying like, every time somebody asks me how we're doing, I say fine. Mind you, they in a whole toxic long distance relationship, argue on the phone every day, every night. Like, but she's saying like, I guess he told the business or whatever that it wasn't so great. Maybe he told their parents or whatever. But it'll just be stuff like that, like constantly arguing, like drama, complaining. But yeah, so I'm already seeing that she's problematic. So y'all, this is the part where it get good. So one day she just boom 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 boom, and she like, hey, we need to talk. Mind you, like, she didn't think about nothing I had going on in here. And I'm like, I'm actually busy. And she's just like, I don't care. We need to talk right now. It's important. And I'm like, okay, let me just give me a second or whatever. Because at this point, I'm still playing nice. I'm still, trying to keep the peace or whatever. So I'm like, maybe it's really important and I need to go see what she's talking about. So, boom. I come out there and she just like, have a seat. And I'm like, bitch, you don't tell me when to have no seat. Like, you is not my mama. Like, don't tell me when to have no seat. I'm like, actually, I'm kind of busy right now, like, or whatever. She was just like, it's really important. Like, I swear, like, like, I don't feel comfortable, just telling this to you on a whim. Like, I really would appreciate if you sit down. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down. I don't even remember if I sat down or not, or if I just stood in there. And so she was just like, so yesterday I was in the hospital. I don't know if you know or not, but I literally filled up an entire towel of blood. And I'm just like, no, what? Like, acting like I care. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And I'm like, what you mean you filled up a whole entire towel of blood? She was just like, I was bleeding. She was bleeding from her hoo-ha or whatever. She filled up my entire, she was just like, I guess there's like an infection in my cyst, or like I have a ovarian cyst that ruptured or something like that. And I honestly really don't know what's wrong with me or whatever. Like, she just was talking like, I don't know, it just wasn't making sense, the stuff that she was saying. So I was just like, okay, I'm sorry to hear that. She was just like, yeah, the doctors are saying that it could be cancer and this, that, and third. I'm like, cancer? What? So I'm just like, oh, dang, like, yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I feel bad for you. I hope things get better. Y'all, after that conversation, not even a week had passed by. Not even a full-blown week had passed by. And she's in there getting her boots. Knock, knock, knock. And she, and I'm like, I know that ain't Miss Bursty Cervix, Miss Bursty Cervix over there getting her boots knocked by. We'll call him Sexy Cowboy because I had to listen real quick because I thought she came home. But we're gonna call that boy Sexy Cowboy. That's the one that she's cheating with. That's not her boyfriend. Because every time he was over here, he used to leave his dirty, funky cowboy boots right next to the kitchen table. So she getting hurt. But she literally just told me that she was filling up a whole towel full of mud. So I'm like, okay, noted, right? So, fast forward a little bit more. One day, I'm just up on the phone with my boyfriend or whatever, and it was like real late at night. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock. It was like 2 o'clock. And she was like, knocks on my door, and she's like, hey, how long are you gonna be up? And I'm like, I don't know. Why? She was just like, something's going on with my ovaries or whatever, and I think I might need to go to the hospital. Like she's trying to be all dramatic, like at my door so I can come out and see what's wrong with her. Like, girl, like, ain't nothing wrong with you. But so in the time I was like, oh my gosh, like, I have a donut on my tire. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to take you to the hospital or whatever, but I could come out there and stay with you until, like, you know, somebody can come get you, or if I need to call 911, I'll call 911. Because at this point, I'm still trying to be nice to this girl. So she was just like, okay, yeah, that's fine, you know, I understand. And she like on the phone with her boyfriend. She was like, she got a donut on her car, whatever. Mind you, this is after all the times, like, I had been telling her, like, you know, you too loud, like, telling her, like, certain stuff about herself that I didn't really like. So I'm like thinking, like, we low-key beefing, but I'm still trying to be nice to you, whatever. Like, it just, like, I don't know, it was just awkward. So I went out there and sit with her. She's just like, oh, you look pretty, like, you look cute. I had a bonnet on. What do you mean I look cute? So she just like, oh, like, after she said I look cute, like, she said that perfectly fine. Like, she don't seem like she in no type of pain. Like, everything good when I came out there. Boom, we just out there talking and stuff, like, and I was just like, are you on birth control or whatever? Because, you know, birth control is really not good for y'all. Like, y'all be getting on that birth control and y'all be having side effects, like, or whatever. Like, y'all be having all types of complications. I done heard about brain tumors and stuff with cancer and stuff to do with that birth control stuff. That's why I trust in the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior, and y'all can trust that birth control, because I'm not going. I already graduated college, so if I get a baby I don't want no baby. But that's exactly why I keep my legs closed. But anyway, so we just going through like the options. I'm like, oh, you can put a heating pad and stuff that helps with cramps and stuff like that, or you can drink tea, or you can do this, you can do that. Like I heard about this tea like my friend was using for like her PCOS or whatever it's called. Like she's saying that works for like ovary cysts and stuff like that, because you know with PCOS you're prone to like, y'all know, it don't matter. So yeah, we're just talking about stuff like that, and then I ended up getting on the topic of, so I'm like, so like when you and your man do it or whatever, like you don't be bleeding and stuff, like you don't be getting like, you know, pain and stuff like that, it don't hurt. And she was just like, well, my boyfriend is like very gentle or whatever. I'm like, your boyfriend? I thought that was your best friend. But I think she was still on the phone with him at the time, so she was just trying to like sugarcoat it. So I'm like, okay, her boyfriend is gentle, but the crazy part is every time the sexy cowboy would come over, she would get her boots knocked, and she would cook for him. I'm just getting a little bit, y'all. I'm just getting a little bit. And she would cook for him. But every time her boyfriend was over, it was just like they were always arguing, and I didn't hear the, like I heard with the other guy, like I didn't, she made it seem like her ovaries was messed up and she wasn't having no, you know, she just didn't want to have it because like it was just so uncomfortable for her. That's what she was telling her boyfriend. Whole time she effing on sexy cowboy, and it's just like, girl, you dead wrong for that. You be cooking for him and you don't cook for your boyfriend. Like, it just is giving she's just not shit. So she ends up telling me that or whatever, and conversation going on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just like noticing, like, it's nothing wrong with this girl. Like, it's literally nothing wrong with her. She literally just probably wanted somebody to talk to or whatever. So I'm just like, yeah, girl, I'll be feeling better, but I'm finna go to bed because I'm tired. But text me if you need anything. And then, I think she was like, I actually found somebody to take me to the hospital like 5 minutes after that. She was like, I found somebody to take me to the hospital. And I don't even think she ended up going to the hospital. Like, her had just be capped. Like, okay. So, boom. What happened next? Okay, so one time, this is when she really started getting on my nerves. This is when I stopped caring about telling her about herself. Like, I was not caring. So, but we're still cool at this point. It just, she started to piss me off, and I'm just not letting on all the way, letting her know that she's pissing me off. I'm just kind of like telling her here and there, hey, you're too loud, like you're doing a lot, like, can you do this, can you clean this, like, da da da. Passive aggressive. I had to listen, make sure she come home. But boom, what happened? Y'all, I'm at Dollar General or whatever one day, and she calling me. So I answer whatever. I'm like, hey, hello. And she was like, hey, so on this day, it was like either it was like 2 days from there or 1 day from there. She was like, I'm gonna need the kitchen for like the majority of the day because I am baking cupcakes for my son that I gave away for adoption for his birthday or whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's no problem or whatever, you know. I don't really use the kitchen like that anyway, so that shouldn't be like an issue. And so she's like, okay, well, yeah, I was just letting you know, like, anything you want to do or whatever, just do it before then or after, because I'm literally gonna need the kitchen the entire time. Like, I literally don't want anybody in there while I'm in there. And I'm just like, what? Like, girl, I still pay rent here. If I need to do something in the kitchen, I'm gonna do it. But I'm just like, okay, I'll work around it or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, she was just like, but by the way, can you clean the kitchen up, because it was clean before I left. Like, she had been gone for like 2 days or whatever. Mind you, I had not used the kitchen. Like, I was not using the kitchen. The most thing I was using was the microwave, and the stove was dirty. And I don't cook, especially not when I had my meal plan. Like, I was not doing none of that. So the most I did was use the microwave. And mind you, the kitchen was exactly how she left it. But she was just like, it was dirty, and it wasn't dirty before she left. Mind you, yes it was, and she knew that. And so I was just like, the kitchen was already in that state when I first moved in. Like, it wasn't all the way clean when I moved in. So I just thought that was like something you and your roommates before had to work out or whatever. But I don't mind wiping down the counter or whatever. Like, I'll do it. And she was just like, okay, great. And yeah, like, my other roommates or whatever, they weren't cleaning up. Like, I was the only one cleaning up. Kind of find out that was a whole lie. Like, you were the only one that wasn't cleaning up. You weren't the only one that was cleaning up, because everybody in here is clean. So even the old roommate that she had, she's clean. You're the one that's not clean. So she just literally made up a whole lie, saying that they left and they didn't clean up and this, that, and the third. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll help you, whatever. Like, I'll wipe down the table. So I wiped down the table, and I think during the time, but I had told her before, during that time I ended up having some health complications. Nothing serious, but I was like in a lot of pain. And I was just like, you know, because she was always telling me about her medical situation. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe she'll have some sympathy or whatever. And so I'm just like, hey, like, you know, I've been up all night or whatever, like, I'm sick or whatever, and I really need to get some rest. So like, when you're doing a cupcake situation in your room, is it okay if you like don't play music and stuff like that, or like, you know, don't just be extra loud for no reason? She was just like, yeah, that's fine. I'll try my best. That was her favorite line. I'll try my best. And girl, she was literally so loud. Like, she did not even try at all. Like, she did not even remember what I said. Like, she didn't give a fuck, basically. She just did her own thing. So I was like, okay, noted. So, boom. Mind you, after that situation, she left the kitchen a hot ass mess for like a whole entire month. And I only said something because I was so busy trying to keep the peace. I only said something when I was about to have guests, because this was around the time when my friend was coming into town for the Janae. I say Aiko, but some people say Aiko. I don't really like saying Aiko. But the Janae Aiko concert or whatever. Mind you, I'm texting her like weeks in advance. I'm like, hey, like, the kitchen is still a mess. There's still like icing and stuff on the table and on the floor or whatever. When are you gonna, you know, clean that up? And like, can you clean it up? And I'm just like, I'm gonna be having guests soon. Like, you know, when are you gonna get that up? The day before, I was just like, hey, my guest is coming tomorrow. And she's just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm gonna get it done before then or whatever. So I'm like, okay, she gonna get it done, no problem. Mind you, it's literally like the night before and this stuff is still not done. So I'm like, I knock on her door. So I'm knock on her door. So I'm like, hey, like, you said you was gonna clean this up like this morning and it's still not done. Like, when are you gonna get that done? She was just like, hey, first of all, you do not need to be beating on my door like that. Mind you, this girl beat on my door several times before this instance. So she made me feel comfortable beating on her door because this is her thing. This is her favorite thing to do. So I'm just like, and what else? And she was just like, second of all, I have been really busy and I haven't had time to clean up. You've been busy for a whole month? Because this shit been sitting here for a whole month. You've been busy for a whole month. And I'm just like, I don't know, well, like, I'm not really like paying attention to what you're saying, because like you literally be in here playing, kikiing and laughing, like, so I'm not really believing that you didn't have time to clean up, but it needs to get done because I'm having guests and this is unacceptable or whatever. And like she was trying to go back and forth with me a little bit, but I'm like, no, shut it up, clean it up fast. And she's just like, okay, well, I'll make sure it's done by in the morning. The morning comes and it's still not done. So we literally get into a whole argument over that. Let me see if I can go find it in my messages. Okay, so mind you, she never ended up cleaning up the kitchen. I can't remember when she cleaned up the kitchen, but it wasn't like in time or when I wanted her to do it. But she ended up asking me if I could clean the living room, because at the time I was doing hair, right? So I was doing hair, whatever, and I left like my chair out there. I left comb out there, and probably like my flat iron and maybe like some glue. Like I had my whole little setup on the table or whatever, and it probably wasn't here on the floor. And I left it like that because she had been gone for a little minute. So I'm just like, bro, she take her sweet time to clean up. The kitchen still ain't clean. Like, I'm not finna be rushing to clean this up. So she ended up getting home and she asked me like, can I clean it up or whatever. So I'm like, I text her and I'm like, hey girl, I just finished cleaning the area I used to do my client, and I just remembered you said you're gonna clean up. You were gonna do, I just remembered you said you were gonna do a deep clean on Sunday. Are you still doing that? Because the kitchen has not returned back to normal since you did all that stuff last Friday. I swept the kitchen Monday before my client, and now there's icing on the floor again. I don't know if you remember dang, I can't even read right now, y'all. I'm so lit. I'm so lit, I can't even read. I don't know if you remember telling you, but we have ants and I saw some today. She never responded. She just liked the message. I said, can you please stop screaming early in the morning? I keep telling you and you keep doing it. I don't know what else to do. And I said, I have to do somebody hair Monday at 4, so I'm gonna need that area again. I don't mind moving Chase bag, but I don't want to touch it. And then I ended up telling her, like, can we agree to use the ice machine the regular way instead of using our hands or scooping it? Because one day, because literally I could hear everything that goes on in this apartment, right? So one day, I heard somebody like digging in the ice machine. And I can hear it because it makes the flap, and the flaps makes like a little, it makes like a little sound like that, whatever. And I can hear when somebody's opening it. There's no need to be open because you can just, and it makes the sound like, and the ice comes out. So I knew somebody was opening it. She was like, nobody opened it. I don't know what you're talking about. Da 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 da. And then she ended up saying, oh, my boyfriend must have used it, but he told me he didn't. Da 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 da. He must have just lied. Da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So, yeah, then I'm telling her, like, because I ended up cleaning up the mess or whatever. Because remember, we got into a whole argument, y'all. So, about the situation with her making the cupcakes and then me cleaning up my mess that I made, y'all, literally was like a little bit of hair in the floor and some hair tools was out. So, she comes out and we have a whole entire argument. She's like, hey, can you come out? Can we talk? She brings her boyfriend out and everything. And she just like, listen. So yeah, okay, I just gotta read the messages leading up to the argument or whatever. So after I cleaned the area where I was doing hair at, I was like, hey, it's done. Also, I swept it this time, but I'm noticing the kitchen floor isn't getting swept unless I sweep it. So if you could be more diligent about sweeping and cleaning the crumbs you leave behind your oven and under your seat at the edge of the table, that would be great. Also, there's still icing on the floor from the cupcakes you made, and it's making the kitchen floor look bad and it needs to be mopped. I'm having a friend over on Sunday. Mind you, she completely ignored that message. Then I sent her another message. I said, I'm not understanding how when you ask me to clean something or wipe something down, it's done the day of or the next day. But when I ask you to do something, you completely ignore it or put it off for weeks. You have dishes in the sink, which means you haven't cleaned the sink since you and your boyfriend brushed y'all teeth in there. I told you my guest is coming tomorrow and the crumbs are still under your chair and on the counter and you still haven't mopped. If you can't cooperate with me and I'm being respectful, asking you nicely, and you're still not doing it, what do you expect to happen? And I said, she ignored that message. Okay, so my roommate is officially home now. I honestly don't give a fuck, and I don't feel like I'm talking that loud. Let me see if I'm talking loud. Okay, y'all. So she ignored that message, the last message that I sent, and I texted her again on Sunday. I said, you said you were going to get up early to clean up, and it's 3:35 p.m. and my friend is going to be here any minute, and it's still not done. I'm not trying to be rude, but you're being rude at this point. She says, we did sweep. That is what you asked from your message Friday and last night. I re-swept where you wanted me to, and I mopped the kitchen. I used paper towels and Windex, my Swiffer, and I used that to mop. Oh, this was after. I missed the whole part. So after we had the argument or whatever about her cleaning up, they tried to show me like she had her boyfriend come out or whatever. She's like, yeah, come out here because I'm not gonna be attacked. Like the part where we was about to argue about her leaving that cupcake stuff in there. This is what I'm talking about. I don't know if this is confusing, but basically she came out of her room and asked to talk or whatever because she never responded to my message and was like, we already cleaned up. I had her boyfriend at the time. I don't know what we should call him. I'm gonna call him Simp. I had Simp come and sweep the kitchen or whatever. So I don't know what it is that you're looking for, but we already cleaned up. And I'm just like, still not clean. She was just like, well, you left hair or whatever. You left hair on the floor, and there's still hair on the floor, and that's nasty. And we had guests over, da 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 da. So I go out there, and I'm pointing. I'm like, you took them out over there, and I'm just like, it's no hair over there. So what are you talking about? So she just like, Simp, show her the hair, show her it. Y'all, why does this nutcracker go in our laundry and dryer, our washing machine and dryer, pull out the broom, tip the broom over, and show me the bottom of the broom with the hair on it? So the hair that I didn't clean up, you're telling me the mess that I made is at the bottom of the broom. Not on the floor, not where everybody can see it. It's on the broom. So now your argument is irrelevant at this point because I'm telling you about what you left on the floor, on the table, dishes in the sink, and you're telling me about something that's on the broom that can easily be and put in the trash. This is when I knew she was just like delusional as fuck. So basically after that, I obviously won that battle because, girl, you talking to me about some hair in a broom. The whole time you got the whole kitchen looking a mess. They cleaned the entire kitchen. And I'm talking about swept, mopped, wiped down the tables, everything. And then she sends me this long paragraph like, I did this, I did that, I did this, da, 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 da. I think they in there taking pictures. They so proud of how they cleaned it up. I'm like, yeah, clean that shit up, bitch. Yeah, clean that up. Like I said, clean that up. Cause I'm Big Mama. I don't know about you, but I don't know what these other roommates was in here letting you get away with. But Big Mama ain't going for it. Big Mama not going for it. So boom, my friend comes over and I'm venting to her about the situation. We go to the concert. Concert was great, y'all. Janae concert was good. But yeah, even after she left or whatever, we remained talking, we remained cool and all that. And then I'm texting her, I'm like, I need to do my research on this hoe because something is terribly wrong with Miss Girl. So I'm looking her up or whatever. And I'm gonna have to get close when I say this, y'all, because she's literally right next door. So I'm looking her name up or whatever, and like some Facebook comes up with her on it or whatever. Y'all, why I found out that she went to a special needs school? And not that there's anything wrong with that, because there's nothing wrong with that. But after I saw that, it just all made sense. Like, it all made sense. And it's just like, I've been arguing with this is who I've been arguing with. And it's just like, I was just like, can't even do it no more, because this is who I'm arguing with, somebody that went to special needs school. I'm gonna just let y'all sit with that one. I don't know, I'll be doing my research or whatever. And my friend, don't ask me how I found this out or whatever, but remember the whole time when I was saying she was telling me about her health issues and dang, what is that? She was telling me about her health issues and stuff, and I was just like, something wasn't adding up. Why do I have reason to believe that Miss Girl hadn't been to the doctor in 2 years? 2 years. There was no, she was not going to the doctor. So who knows, when she asked me to take her to the hospital, what she was trying to do. She was probably trying to me. She was probably trying to me. And I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. So, what was I saying? So yeah, so she went to the special ed school. I literally paid like, I think it was like $10 to open her like case, because I think she had like a case or something open. Why I open it, I paid to open it or whatever, it's a DUI. Mind you, this girl says she don't drink. So what y'all think she was doing? Drugs, right? Another thing, because I didn't stop there, because I went from her to the boyfriend. I find out he has ADHD, a speech disorder, a learning disability. And I'm gonna just stop right there because part 2 is coming. But I no longer feel comfortable sharing part 2 because I know that she's home. So I'm gonna just save part 2 for later. We're gonna stop there. But all of what I had to say just now has everything to do with part 2, and part 2 is where it gets bad. But y'all, thank you for watching this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it so far. I hope I was able to put the pieces together because I showed it. So yeah, I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.